Hey guys, what's up? It's Tinker Taylor here today, bringing you part two, not day two. Not doing that again. Part two of the Lost Apartment Complex. I thought I'd really be done in this video, and it turns out I'm not. Um, I got up really late yesterday because I thought, you know what, give yourself a little sleep and then it got to like 3 p.m. and I realized I'd done nothing in my day. And while that's good for like every once in a while just to have a relaxing day where you do absolutely nothing, that meant I stayed up late finishing this build. Like, yes, I only spent 3 hours on it, but, well, 3.5, but it's still, I spent, I could have had that done even if I did take a break for dinner before, definitely before 9, but I procrastinated a bit, I lost motivation, I paused it, I left, I came back, like I was just doing it as I felt. And also, uh, I was on a phone call with someone and making sure they got home safe because that was priority to me. And then, yeah, just I got to a point where I'm like, I'm done. Excuse me. Where I just couldn't do it anymore. I was exhausted. I wanted to go to bed, and I didn't end up going to bed for like another 2 hours after that because I stayed up late talking to someone. Um, and yeah, it just I had to get up early to do this, and I'm still not done. So, which it's kind of actually good for me because I have to have the next two builds kind of sorted, done and dusted, and maybe even a couple builds after that. So, I don't know, it's been good for me to have this other video ready, I guess, to do because, yeah, like I've mentioned in a previous video, I'm going away for a few days, and one of my videos definitely covers that. So, yeah, I want to try and get these videos done and dusted, but I guarantee you after I record this and upload it and whatever, I'm going straight back to bed because I've had very minimal sleep. And I've always told you guys I prioritize my sleep over everything else. But anyway, that's why I sound kind of a little deflated, I guess. Just because I'm absolutely exhausted. Um, I really was tempted not to get out of bed this morning, not to do the video, but I'm here. I actually kind of enjoy making these videos. Like, I wouldn't do it if I didn't. And I think having something to do like this, it's worth getting up. But I will go back to bed after this. But right here, you can actually kind of see me doing. I've never really done this before, but like grabbing all the items and kind of grouping them together. And that's what I base the furnishing off. I've found it a little easier to actually do this rather than to get into the build and get overwhelmed and not know what to do and give up and walk away, which I kind of did in the first. Excuse me, the first build. It is a little disjointed, but I kind of wanted it to be. A lot of people who move into apartments aren't always the best interior designers, so I thought, you know what? We're just gonna roll with it. We're gonna put a bunch of random stuff together that sort of fits, and like maybe the person who lives here really likes it. So, yeah, it's totally random. Oh, not totally random, but it's a little disjointed. But in the other flats, the other apartments, I tried to be a little nicer, I guess. So the first apartment is kind of supposed to be perhaps a scholar or a professor or a researcher or something like that. Someone who's very academic. And then the second apartment that I'm furnishing is supposed to be someone who is, like, in their day-to-day job, they're extremely, I don't know how to say this. I do, but I'm tired, so I can't think of the words. Yeah, like, they're extremely, excuse me, giving you guys such riveting content this morning. Okay, I found my thought. The second apartment, which I'm kind of doing now, is someone who is, a very tough and serious person, and you think, they're just here to get their job done and whatnot, but then you visit their house and it's just beautiful. Like, not to say that tough and serious people can't have beautiful houses, but this house is definitely not what you'd expect from a very serious, probably a high-ranking person, maybe. Maybe not a high-ranking person, maybe like a middle manager. And they have, just a house that's completely different to what you'd expect. And it turns out they do have passions and hobbies, and, that's not so strange that people can be different outside of work. And that was kind of the goal of that apartment, was to just be really, really different. Also, I'm really hoping that it doesn't do this when the video's playing, but it's being really choppy and changey in my editing program. It's probably because my editing program had an update and I haven't completely not fixed it, but like there's stuff that I normally have set up and I don't know if it's set up. But anyway, if you guys have a perfectly normal video, then you have no idea what I'm talking about, but it's like, it's dropped down really far. Anyway, yeah, so this is you can kind of see where I'm going with this apartment being very nature driven. I feel like if I could pick any apartment from the style alone, I would love to have this apartment. It's got no TV. It's definitely got space for a desk somewhere. There's so many plants. It's got a beautiful view. It's got more space than what I have now, and more space that I don't have to share. Yeah, I think it's a beautiful space. I would love to live somewhere as peaceful as this, I guess. But if I could pick size-wise, I'd probably pick one of the 2-bedroom apartments. But they're more expensive, and I'm a uni student, so that's probably not gonna happen. Anyway, yeah, like these plants, I wouldn't say could easily be shifted around, but they definitely could be shifted around to fit a desk in. There's plenty of storage in this build. I absolutely love it. Actually, you don't even have to shift it around. Where the box is, you could just move that and put the desk there. That's what I would do. I would shift that box to a different corner, or maybe underneath these shelves or something, or unpack it. That's the one thing I'm so keen to do when I move out, is unpack all my boxes, because I don't have many of them unpacked, which sucks because a lot of the things that I want to do I can't because, well, they're packed away. Like, if I really wanted to do them that bad, I could, but they're packed away and I'm not interested in unpacking them to have to repack them later. Like, I already don't want to have to unpack all the stuff that I've already unpacked, and not all of it is necessary. It's more for... It's more just to give the room a bit of personality and aesthetic. I didn't want it to be blank and boring, and also I don't really have any more box space under my bed. and I threw out the boxes that these guys came in, so I'm gonna have to buy more boxes when I leave. The one good thing is that I managed to find the recycling bin here. It's so difficult to find a recycling bin. So the boxes I did throw out went into the recycling bin, which I'm happy about. But yes, that's what I would do in that apartment. Now, this second one, which I think I've already kinda... Oh, no, this is the first one. This third one here is supposed to sort of feel like not a luxury build, but sort of a... I guess luxury is probably the best word. Like, it's supposed to feel a bit more... I don't know if upclass is the right word, but definitely a lot nicer and sort of glam compared to the rest of them. I had a lot of trouble picking the bed, and I'm still not 100% sold on it. So let me know down below your thoughts and feelings on, well, I mean, A, the whole build, but B, this particular room. Because I'm not a particularly fancy person, and now that I think about it, I probably shouldn't have made the mirrors in that room gold if everything else in that room was silver. But then I make the rest of the build gold. It's, yeah, confusing. Well, not confusing really. Like, it's just doesn't make sense. Now, I have a strange feeling about this apartment. Like, I think, again, you don't like it, I'ma just pretend it's the person who lives there who has no idea of interior design and this is just what they want. But if you do like it, then it's 100% me. And I feel like I can do that because, I mean, the way I was basing these builds was that I was doing it as if I were a particular person. So the first build was, I kind of put my little academic brain on and went, okay, what would a random professor, just a random professor, not a particular one, just any random professor, what would their apartment look like? And then the second one was like, okay, think of some serious business person you've met in your life. And like, you've met few people going to work with your parent. Why don't you just throw them all together and then like make a generic businessman and build him an apartment? And that's what I did. And this one was kind of like, it was actually solely based off the couch. And then I was like, okay, sure. What person do you think would have a couch like this? And what sort of apartment would that apartment look like? What sort of style would it look like? And that's how you kind of ended up with this. And then the last build, which we'll get to at some point, on this floor is an artist, like a young artist with a young baby. And that's probably my favorite apartment so far, purely because of how much fun I had. It might not visually be my favorite, but it's definitely the one I had the most fun with. And then I do the next floor up and I do the 2-bedroom apartment. So I still haven't done, I guess, the furnishings, or I don't want to say the furnishings, but like, I haven't done much of the outside of this build, and I haven't done the penthouse suite. Yeah, I had a lot of trouble with this painting, and I kept talking to my roommate and asking them which one they'd prefer, and they kept picking different ones, and they really liked this white one in the end. And I talked them through what my ideas were, and they were like, look, at the end of the day, it's your build. Like, I like this one, but I also not a designer, so you pick what you like. And that's how we end up with the green, because I feel like it ties in a lot better. Like, it is also very overpowering, and the couch is also a statement piece. And if you have a statement piece, it should stand out. But I just didn't like the look of the other colours. I feel like maybe the blue would have worked because it still had the same sort of goldy aspects, but and like would have still tied into the couch a bit, but the blue just didn't feel right. So I did not do that. Yeah. I also had no idea what to do in this corner if it's not obvious. I wanted it to be so this build wasn't like a lot of the things had to be done in the apartment, not on it. But these people own their place, and so they probably like hung these things up or put them up without telling anybody. Because you're not really supposed to do that without permission. So maybe like the mum in this apartment, like she puts up these paper plates. Like you don't need permission to do that because it's not actually like she probably put it up with blue tack. But there are wall decals, and maybe if the rest of the place knew, they would be upset because, well, it could damage the walls. But these ones are a type that don't, and the paint is one that doesn't easily peel off, so we're safe. Like this apartment here with that's the third one I did, the fancy one, had the lights above the bed, and no other apartment does so far. So maybe they got approval to do it. And when I say approval, like I'm kind of studying it a little bit. If you can prove that it won't negatively affect the resale, or the livelihood, or not the livelihoods, but like won't negatively affect the rest of the apartment. Oh, excuse me. They can prove it won't negatively affect the rest of the apartments. It will be okay to do something like that. And you have to prove like it won't affect the resale value of not only your apartment but surrounding apartments, and won't affect the I can't even think of words right now. Like it won't affect the lives of other apartments. Having wall lights, wall sconces, it doesn't really affect other people, especially if they are powered through an app or something like that, so they're not having to hear it, like flicking switches. Like where I live right now, I can hear if people are turning on and off power points. If we share a wall with, like, that power point is on the same wall that I share with them. So yeah. Excuse me. Yeah, that's pretty much it about that. I really do like this apartment. It's so much fun and it's so different, and I don't know, I feel like a lot of apartments get done in a way of like beautiful styling and this and that and whatever, but I was like, you know what? No. Let's do something different. Let's do something fun. So that's kind of what I try and do. And it's so much fun. I think if I were to visit this person and spend the night like sleeping on the couch or whatever, I would feel so happy in this place. Like it would just bring me joy to be in this place. It's so colorful, it's so fun. I think, yeah, just I would definitely want to visit here a lot and just sit in the egg chair, just relax, because this is so much fun. I'm definitely imagining the mom who lives here has definitely made a lot of these decals and printed them off herself. Maybe she sells them online. And she just has fun with it, and she just wants to like bring up her child in fun, healthy way with lots of love, I think is ideal. Now this apartment here that I definitely feel like this is someone who has been to a country overseas, or perhaps may have one parent from that country and decided, you know what, I'm gonna live in one family's country and the other family's style is what I'm going to decorate my apartment with. I was definitely more leaning towards someone who visited another country but couldn't live there for whatever reason, but wanted to bring that, a touch of that country home. And that's what you end up with in this apartment. And at this point, I was feeling exhausted and a little bit emotional, so I just kind of left everything basic. I could have come back and done more details, but hey, this video's not done, so I could come back and do more details. I mean, at one point I forget to put an entire computer and chair on the desk, and it's just the lamp and the chair, the lamp and the desk, with no chair. But I do go back and fix that at some point when I'm doing the other 2-bedroom apartment. So this 2-bedroom apartment is a video. It's got 2 bedrooms, but one of them is sort of a spare bedroom that doesn't really get used a lot, so it's pretty, I don't want to say boring, but like it's just there. It exists. There's nothing special really about it. They don't use it very often, so yeah. I also realized if I wanted to keep it true to the pack, to the Snowy Escapes pack, I probably should have put a shoe rack in at the door. I did not, but I will. Which is good because I didn't exactly like how it ended up near the doorway. The screenshots aren't available just yet for this build, but 100% will be for the final video because I just couldn't think. Is all I could say. I could not get up this morning and take screenshots and add it to it. Plus, it's not done yet. I prefer to do the screenshots when it's done. So, yeah. Also, this build here, this apartment here, they build like it's a separate build. This apartment here is sort of supposed to be maybe an elderly music teacher who teaches music from the home, but maybe also, I don't want to say elderly, but someone who's definitely maybe middle-aged. Maybe middle-aged we'll go with. Who definitely is much more of a loner. Like not completely, but just definitely likes their alone time, but also likes to host, I don't want to say parties, but definitely likes to host events where music gets played and loves to hear, like having a bunch of people over and just listening to music. That's what brings this person joy. And maybe they have family, maybe they don't, but they have like a group of people who do regularly visit, and that's hence why, yes, they don't really like having people overall too often, but they have this like space that can accommodate for multiple people. But that's also why their second room is a music room and not a bedroom. I also did try and not soundproof it a little bit, but think about like, okay, if I was a person who wanted to compose music but didn't want to bother my neighbors 24/7, how would I like cushion the noise from the room? Because I used to live above a piano, and sometimes they'd be practicing the piano at like 3 in the morning. And this was not like a keyboard where you could just plug headphones in. It's a stand-up piano exactly like this one, in the little second bedroom. So yeah, I really was trying to be considerate to basically to Sims. Just because I found it annoying to be woken up at 2 a.m. by distant piano music. Don't get me wrong, during the day it was nice and it actually did help a little bit with studying, and that's how I kind of got into listening to smooth jazz while I study, which is just beautiful. And it's definitely a really good, I don't want to say palate cleanser, but it's more of a, it occupies the space in my brain that wants to do something fun. Studying is not fun. Like I normally will listen to a documentary. I love documentaries, and kind of running out of documentaries to watch because that's all I ever watch, and I'm kind of falling back on watching the same ones. Anyway, that's enough for this video. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye guys.